Hello, and welcome to this preview of my new show, Pathways to Peace. I'm your host, Samantha, and I'm still on a quest to help couples stop fighting in their relationship, but by working with themselves first. So today we're going to talk about winning the war with peace, the war inside between the good and the bad stories that we tell ourselves that stand in the way of the life and the love relationship we want and deserve. I know I do. So the talking points that John, my honored guest, is going to talk about or cover today is connect your higher consciousness and true self with the radiant mind experience and awaken
Oh,
channels in your body to feel and receive divine energy and more great stuff, John. So welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you back. And you have an interesting story that not a lot of people know about, your past as a monk. And this is what we're going to dive into today. So can you tell us a little bit about that and in relation to how we can have
well,
the love life we
I,
want?
I, well, if we want to have the life we want, I think relationships are a big part of that, but our relationship with ourself is a big part of that, and also a relationship with a higher power. Uh, you know, People use the word faith. It's hard to have faith when you don't have experience. If you experience something, then your faith grows more. And uh, when you have faith, and I don't mean faith in some belief system that's not yours, but your own, is when you look at your life. And we all have had bumps on the road. Okay. Lots of bad things happen to everybody. But then afterwards, for most people, they realize, oh my gosh, I grew from that. I learned something from that. I couldn't be here today had I not had that experience. Share a few experiences from my own life, which is, yes, I was a monk and I do teach meditation. I'm going to teach some meditation skills today, but more, I have to share more of myself. And so you relate to it. So we resonate. And then once we're resonating, then my 50 years of experiencing spiritual meditation experiences can be transmitted. In the same way, if you were to play tennis with a beginner, your game would be like a beginner, particularly if you are a beginner. But if you have a coach who is a professional, they've done this their own life, they've practiced and practiced and practiced, suddenly your game improves dramatically. So that's the way I look at it. In more spiritual context, they often call it the transmission from the teacher to the student. The uh, To me, it's just resonance, and it's not necessarily just with a spiritual teacher. Anybody that you feel attraction towards, you feel at ease and comfortable with, because you're resonating with a quality in that person that is true to you.
Mhm.
And when you have the actual physical attraction between a man and a woman, when that situation is there, that attraction is based upon there's something in her that's within myself that I need to bring forth more. And so, particularly for men, they're attracted to females to connect with their own female self. And for women, they're attracted to males, uh, not just to find their masculine self, but to actually find their feminine self as well. Because when you're in the presence of a man with masculine energy, you feel, oh, I don't have to do everything myself. And so then you can be connected to your male side, but also freely connected to your female side. One of the challenges for women today is when they're more independent, they're on their male side. And it can be hard to come back to the female side. Maybe some women do it without a man, that's their own journey. But what I've seen is that so many women today, when they're feeling overwhelmed, I have so much to do, I have so much to do, that's the result of having an imbalance between within herself of her male side and her female side. And by having a male serve you in a variety of different ways, it lifts the load so that you can fully connect with your female side. Because what keeps women from connecting with their female side is feeling they have to do everything. So, can you relate to that at all, Coach Samantha?
Definitely. So in my mind, I'm going, okay, so how do we win the war inside? What stories, or how do we change that conflict inside ourselves without involving our husband? And just what's the switch bait when you go down that path, because, you know, it's like, oh, I have to do it myself, yada, yada. That story doesn't work, right?
Well, what's happening whenever you feel I have to do something myself, there's nothing wrong with doing things yourself. Let's set the premise. Let's even go back to our basic life biology when we're born. When we're babies, for the first 3 to 4 weeks, we're both men and women have the same genes being expressed. Okay, the male has all of the female genes, all of the male genes. The female has all of the male genes, all of the female genes. They're a oneness. Then the Y chromosome comes in, and only in men who have that Y chromosome, and its job is it releases 23 genes, activates 23 genes that will override the female genes. So women don't have genes that will override their female genes. They have situations that stimulate their male genes more than their female genes. See, this is if you're in a situation where you're in danger and you're a woman, for most women, it will activate the danger, will activate their male genes. Okay, the masculine side of her, so to speak. I have to protect myself. However, if she's in danger and there's a man that she trusts to protect her, then that will activate her female genes of, oh, I don't have to do it all myself. Now she can come back into a balance of, I'm basically safe and I can let my female genes be expressed, which are female genes are peace, at ease, safety, comfort, and so forth. And so I'm talking about this in response to when you're talking about the war inside of us. Part of the war that most women have to face in our culture today is that feeling of I have to. And a lot of what we feel I have to simply because we don't feel at ease and comfortable with asking for help. So asking for help is a major thing. Women often think that if he doesn't offer to help, he doesn't want to help. Can I just say that again? If he's not helping, you think, well, if he's not helping, then I'll just do it myself, because if he loved me, he would offer to help, and he'd be willing to help. So a woman might even say, oh, I'm so tired today and I still have to do this. And the guy goes, oh, you do so much. And then doesn't do anything because he's waiting. And so she goes, oh, I thought I was asking by telling him I have this problem. No, that's not asking. And this is part of growing up romantically in a romantic relationship, is overcoming the story inside of me that if he loves me, I'll never have to ask. And he'll automatically be motivated. And he'll always be thinking about me. And,
I agree. Yeah.
so you have to draw him into you. This is the, we talk about the law of attraction, the opening. That's the female energy, See, you can be a very competent, look, I'm a competent writer. I've written all these books. Say that's my skill. More so my skill is an idea person, teaching. And so that's my skill. That's my male side. Every woman has a male side. Look what she can do. She can organize, she can fix, she can solve, she can write, she can help, she can, all that stuff. Women have tremendous male side. It's just if I as a man have a skill and I'm capable, but if nobody reads my books, then I'm not that effective. I have to attract people to me to read my books. I have to attract people to listen to my stories that I want to tell and how to help people. And I have to draw that in. And some people cannot draw it in. Now, ironically, some people can attract, but they have nothing to offer. There's some people that are like famous that I go, they're so superficial, just like, but hey, power to them. They've got their female power, which is to attract. So we want our ability to attract and to make a difference at the same time. And women all have that potential to fulfill their destiny in their life. We all have our own unique journey. But I see in relationships, which I know you help a lot of people with relationships, and that war inside yourself is you create a war when it's situations you do things that you either don't want to do or you feel you have to do, and it would have been nicer if they helped. And some women don't even think I should ask because they just assume. So I'll give you an example. I have a female side, right? So I have the male and female side, and it's just that I need to be in relationship with a woman that loves me to really activate my female side. So this is what men literally need women more than women need men. when women, particularly today, because when women can make money, what do they need a man for? And if you don't need a man, you don't feel a lot of appreciation and love and gratitude to have a man. You
So
know, from my wife, I
we're
come home,
the
she's
dark
literally glad.
drive. We'll be helpless without you. That's my message. But go ahead.
My wife, when I come home, he's alive, you know, just even that I'm alive. There's a sense of gratitude and so forth, happiness and joy. Um, Maybe that's even why as couples get older, they have more peace because he lived another day. I'm still alive.
So I didn't have a problem asking. My problem was I repelled him. And I actually learned exactly why. We were doing parent method training, and I have a funny chapter about it in my book. And the teacher was playing the adult, and I was playing the kid, and she was telling me what to do. And I was supposed to report back how I heard her. And she sounded so annoying that I literally shut down my hearing. And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly how I sound to him every time I ask
Oh,
him to do something. So I was so nagging. My problem wasn't asking for help, but I was being so obnoxious and repelling to him. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of the time, right? So I was not attracting, I was repelling.
well, that again, it's the art of asking. And so what you got was the parent when you're parenting your partner, how completely annoying it is. That's a great exercise, by the way. I like that one.
I
So
did.
a great story.
Dang,
So
she sounded so annoying. So,
so part of the way women think they're asking is by complaining.
mhm.
That's that they think they're asking, but what they're doing is they're complaining.
Mhm.
And they think many times, let's categorize this a little bit. One is, uh, you forgot to turn out the light. Okay. She thinks she's asking. All I hear is disappointment, criticism, and complaining. And then,
Again.
and then when she does it again and again, now I'm not just complaining, but she's nagging. And
Mhm.
part of nagging is she's feeling inside the frustration of why, how many times I have to ask you, this is not a big deal to do. Why can't you do it? What's wrong with you? And ultimately, deep inside, it's like, if you can't do this little thing for me, then you must not love me. And if you can't do this little thing for me, what if I have a big need? Well, my gosh, I need to depend on you. But the irony of that is a man forgets to do some little things. A woman starts to feel like, you don't love me, which is ridiculous. Of course he loves you. If it was a big problem, he'd come into action, because when a problem's really big, it demands his attention. But if it's not such a big deal, he thinks, why don't you do it yourself? Because he doesn't understand women, and she doesn't understand men. And she goes, but he changed. He used to do a lot of stuff for me. And I explained that, which is, in the beginning, like when you're dating, men are not willing to share their income. They're not going to be monogamous. They're not, in the beginning, they're not doing the big stuff, marriage, sharing a life together, making decisions together, loving each other. That's the big stuff. And dating, he's not going to do the big stuff. He's going to do the little stuff. And if doing little stuff like planning a date, holding your hands, giving you a kiss, often acknowledging you, telling a story about his life, see, all these little things, that happen in the beginning, that's what opens a woman's heart. But in his mind, he thinks that's just the little stuff. Now I'm doing the big stuff. Why do I need to do the little stuff? He doesn't know that the little stuff is what opens her heart, and the big stuff. You have to still do the big stuff, but you have to add to it the things you did in the beginning, which is not that hard if he just understands. So it's explaining to a man, I want to, you're a coach. Here's a good hack for everybody in terms of overcoming the feeling of I have to do stuff. But first, let me give an experience of me being on my female side. So the other day, I was, I can't remember exactly what it was. Either it was I had a toothache or I had a really bad allergy attack. Either one. Those are the only sources of pain. Okay, so that I experienced in life, and I really have a toothache. But so I had a toothache, so I'm more grumpy and irritable. You really can't be that nice when you have a toothache. Okay, so and wasn't sleeping well and so forth. So I was what we call short-tempered. I didn't have a lot of patience. I didn't have a lot of space, and so there I am, and I'm remembering I'm watching a TV show, and she's on her phone, and the volume's really up on her phone, watching some TikTok or whatever. I don't know what it was. And it's really loud. And I'm thinking, doesn't she know that I'm watching TV? Now, the truth is she had fallen asleep. But I'm over here thinking I'm watching TV and she's playing this really loud because normally she'll tone it down to the right level. She's a distance away. But this time she's leaving it up. And I'm just thinking, she's going to continue playing so loud. Doesn't she realize I'm watching this TV show? And I just remember getting up and so, well, then I'm going to go into another room. I didn't say anything to her. I just felt inside. Well, then I'm going to go into another room. And I went into another room and then I did some work on my computer, whatever, and felt all resentful and grumpy that she had not respected me. Anytime you feel that way, that's your female side having a tantrum. So, and I had a tantrum. And the funny thing she said afterwards, I know you had that tantrum and you're allowed that to be on your period once a year because I never complained. See, that's not who I am. I'm grown up. I realize that it's ridiculous for a man to complain to a woman. It just makes him into like a child. And just like you're talking about the parent-child role, it's just awful to have somebody complain to you. And when a woman complains, that's one thing. But when a man complains, it's even worse. Okay. It's 10 times worse. And so what happens then, because he becomes weak in that moment, he doesn't have his strength. Complaining men throughout history, men have been taught never to complain. No, that's what we do.
So what if the man is complaining on the inside? That doesn't help either. To me, what's making internal.
And so what you do, I'm just trying to, I'll finish the story and then we'll go into the question. So I'm illustrating that how I resolved that was when she told me, she said, oh, I didn't know I was asleep. Now suddenly I go, oh, you were asleep. Okay, so it was my mistake. But then I had to realize what was my mistake. Why did I get into that tantrum? Because I didn't simply turn to her and say, honey, would you turn your phone down? That's what I could have done, but I didn't do it. A part of me was like a woman going, you should just do that if you respect me or you love me. And I didn't. Easy to ask.
So sometimes we talk out loud, or we think out loud, and sometimes we think inside our head and we don't distinguish. So we think we said something to him, but we said it inside of our head. So we should swap it around and think out loud when we don't, and not think out loud when we do.
Well, I'm all for thinking out loud. There's a place that when you, for a woman, okay, not for a man. See, men are designed to think quietly. You have to realize that we have a million years of evolution, primitive times where people really weren't that good communicators anyway. Women have the communication center in a woman is twice as big in a man and 10 times more active. Yeah. Okay. She has like 7 times more white matter in the brain. And the function of white matter is to connect all the parts of the brain. So literally it all becomes more holistic thinking for a woman. For a man, it tends to be one part at a time. And what we do when we're stressed is we kind of mull things over and self-reflect. We have a greater sense of detachment as long as we're not too feminized. Now, there's some men now who are just too feminized. That means they're making too many female hormones. They can't do this. But we're talking about real male physiology. To move in the right direction, men are taught not to complain. You're taught to reflect on what you're feeling, reflect on what you're thinking. As a matter of fact, the first thing is to analyze, okay, what just happened, which is what I did. I had my little tantrum and then I analyzed, okay, why did I have that little tantrum? Because my thought is she should have turned it down. And I realized, well, John, I could have asked. Simple as that.
How did she know tantrum when she was asleep?
How did I throw a tantrum? Oh, I'm talking about inside myself even. I just had a little tantrum.
You had a tantrum, but she was asleep while you had it. How did she know?
Oh, I told her later. I told her the whole thing. I realized, I realized that I was not asking and you would have turned it down. But what women do is they live in a world of, if I ask, I'm bothering him too much. I'll upset him. It'll be too much to ask. A big one is just, I can do it myself. So why should I ask him? Well, here's the reason.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, here's the answer to that one, which is you don't know for sure if he's not willing to do something just because he doesn't seem to be willing. I'll give you another story for that. We got a little doggy and Bonnie wanted to get this dog. She bought it without my even saying I wanted it or I saw it or approved of it, whatever. But I was okay with that. I'm an okay guy. And also, I know she'll feel more responsible to feed the dog if she has to pick the dog out. I don't want to feed a dog. I didn't even want a dog. Okay, so I have my psychology going here. So she went ahead and picked it out. I said, great. Then she brought the dog, and here you have to go to the doctor 3 times to get shots before you can get a license to have the dog. So she did it the first 2 times. She came home each time complaining, oh, it's such a long distance. It's so expensive. It's ridiculous. The dog's so noisy. She had like at least 10 complaints about the whole thing. Like, who wants to do that? And then she did it again. Oh, I got to go do that again. So the third time she says, so John, do you want to take the dog to the vet? I said, no. She goes, what? I did it twice. Why don't you want to do it? I said, very simple. You said how terrible it was. You clearly don't want to do it. Why would I want to do it? No, I can't believe it. You don't want to do that. I can't believe it. You won't do that. I said, whoa, I didn't say I won't do it. You said, do you want to do it? No way I want to do that. Why would I want to do that? You've told me so many times how bad it is. Nobody wants to do it. But if it makes you happy, I then am happy to do it. And then I want to do it. No, you can't just change that fast. I said, yes, I can. You don't understand men. Everything inside of a man is based upon the goal. What's in it for me? If there was a time when I wrote Men Are From Mars, it was so famous all around the world. It still is all around the world, but I'm not as famous. The book is, so forth. And in the beginning, yeah, but people really just don't recognize me as much. I've changed a bit, and it's another generation. But having said that, one time they offered me to come to China. I didn't want to fly to China. I wasn't interested. They offered me $100,000 to give a one-day seminar. $100,000. Suddenly, I want to fly to China. Can you see how quickly that changes? Exactly. I don't want to fly to China. I don't want to go there. Oh, they're going to give me a first-class ticket and pay me $100,000 to go to China for a one-day talk. I think I want to do that. So it's all about the outcome. But do I want to go to China if there's nothing in it for me? No, I don't want to go. And I don't go. It has to be a certain reward that I get. Men, and what is the reward for a man in a relationship? The reward, it's different from money. The reward is it's something of value to her that will make her happy. Because I only have so much energy. I conserve my energy and use it in ways that I know will be productive for my well-being as well as for her and our children. And we have to balance that. So you can't know it. He doesn't even know it. You have to just listen to yourself as a woman and overcome this tendency to not ask, and also train him in a new way to respond in a more playful, positive way when you ask for things. So here's a good biohack. Now, when I say biohack, I mean biohacking is using things to hack into, like you hack into a computer and change it. You can hook into your biology through certain processes. And this is one process that you can teach all your clients. Everybody should try it. If you're in a relationship with a man, you simply say to the man, I know we're into an equal relationship. We love each other so much, but sometimes I feel like I'm inadequate to you. I feel like you're more important than me. And so I start to feel insecure. So what would make me feel equal to you? See, no man has a problem approaching him this way, as opposed to saying, you're so selfish, you don't care about me. You say, you are so powerful and so confident, and I start to feel insecure, like, I'm the hired help around the house, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not important. So I start to feel a bit insecure. So I know you love me, and I know you treat me as an equal. I feel so grateful to be in this relationship. So you have to butter them up. Like, you got to butter anybody up. Okay. This is just called loving someone. I put butter with my toast every time. Okay. So you butter them up a little bit. Then you be vulnerable. That's even more buttering up, which is, so I feel, I have these feelings of insecurity. And what would make me feel more secure is to feel you're equal. He says, okay. So there's something we could do every day that will take 5 minutes, only 5 minutes of your time. And it will make me feel so much happier. Would you be willing to do that? He'll say, well, what is it? I said, first, would you give me 5 minutes of your time? Yes, if it will make you happy. If it will make you happy, then I will do it. See, it always has to be why. If it'll make me happy, then I'll do it. So then you say, well, it's a little exercise where randomly at different times, I'm going to put my hand up, 5 fingers, which represents that I have a request that will take less than 5 minutes to do. And I will be so satisfied and happy as a result. And this request is something that I can do by myself that would make me happy if I didn't have to do it. Okay, that's the whole setup. You see, it's not something that I can't do myself. Then of course you want to ask for help. No, this is something that I could do for myself that will make me happier if I didn't have to do it and you did it for me. So it takes a while for the logic to sink in. But just think about what is everything when we think about a romantic date. A woman can open the car door by herself, but a man does it for you. A woman can plan the whole date, but it's nice when he does something for you and you don't have to do it all and carry the weight of responsibility. It'd be so nice if he took charge and did that. That's a man doing something for you. But you could certainly do that yourself. So that's what really creates romance. You go to a restaurant, you can cook for yourself, but you have somebody else cook for you. You go to a restaurant and you go make love in a hotel room somewhere. You didn't have to make the bed. You didn't have to clean up the bed. It's all nice, freshly done for you. So anytime a man can do something for you that you could do for yourself, but you don't have to do because he's there, is romantic. And by romantic, what I mean is that it stimulates more female hormones. What we know to be the case biologically, and I know in our other interviews, the people can go to those, I explain all male hormones, female hormones. But for a woman to have really those romantic feelings where you feel attraction to your partner and you feel happy and you feel joyful with them, if you measure her body, her estrogen levels are doubling. Okay, they double. And their estrogen levels will double when somebody will start to double at least and get closer when somebody does something for you, stuff that you could do yourself, but you don't have to do because they're doing it for you with a smile. So that's the whole key. So you're going to explain to him. So I'm going to put my hand up. It's at 5. That means at any time, if I put my hand up, you'll just stop whatever you're doing. And that's a big part of it is you'll stop whatever you're doing. And you'll say, what is it? And she tells you what it is. And you do it like you're just being paid $100,000. Okay. So you're going to happy to do it, glad to do it. And I'm going to go do that right now. And then afterwards, let him know with a big smile and a hug. Thank you so much. That was delightful. And then you have a nice habit in your relationship where you don't even have to do the hand signals anymore. My wife just knows that anytime she wants something, she can be lazy and ask me to do it, particularly if it's within the realm of 5 minutes. And then we've got something called the 10-minute request, which is once a week. And these are just general things, but it puts it in a package where you kind of, okay, this is what's required to help keep women's female genes activated, because otherwise their male genes begin to dominate. And the male genes basically are always thinking, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And that's called feeling overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And every woman, almost every woman in my classes, wherever I go around the world, relates to, yes, I feel overwhelmed. There's so much to do, so much to do. And implied in so much to do is so much I have to do. So it's not the issue of having to do all of these things. It's actually just feeling I have to. It's just a feeling. I have to, whether I have to do something huge or I have to do something little, I have to. And all day long, she's filled with, well, I have to do this. And because there are things you have to do, but what will activate her female genes, at least all it takes is 5 minutes. It's just, and you can't do anything for yourself. Okay. At that time where you're asking him to do something, you have to simply relax and enjoy it or watch him do it. And it's a time of, it's kind of like a meditation where you're just, okay, I don't have to do everything myself. You just affirm, I'm at ease and comfortable in all situations. You have this moment. And it's a reality. I mean, sometimes when I'm traveling, occasionally I'll have a bodyguard in certain places and, 6'4" guy. It's amazing what I feel like. I feel so safe. And I know, you see, my female side wakes up and go, oh my gosh, I don't have to ever protect myself. Now, the truth is I never feel afraid. Okay, that's different. But so it's not like I'm suddenly feeling afraid and now I feel safe, but just having this man here whose job is to protect me, looking out for me. I just noticed, oh, this is my female side. It'd be like I'm eating ice cream now. That's my female side. That I'm at ease and comfortable. I'm enjoying myself. There's no war. There's no battle to fight. And this all springs from one of the ideas that people who've read my book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, are familiar with. One of the highlights of that book is on Venus, every act of love scores the same, big or small.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I can, yeah, go ahead. You love that point. It's an amazing point. And because see, men are always thinking I have to do big stuff to get a smile on her face. And it's actually a lot of little things. I can give her 50 roses every 6 months and you'll get a smile once. Give her one rose 50 times, you'll get 50 smiles.
Yeah.
And it's just the way with men, you have to just show them logic. Men will do things that are logical. It's not logical for me to do something for you if you can do it yourself. Because for me, I like doing things for myself because it makes male hormones. Now, some men who don't have confidence in their lives, they don't have high testosterone, the male hormone, they tend to hang out on their female side, and they tend to be the ones who, grumble more if you ask them to do something. But this dynamic of setting up a procedure where he knows it's just 5 minutes a day, he can handle that. I'll do it. And it will make her really happy. And it makes her even happier if there's no grumbles, there's no resistance, is right away happy to do it. And you do it for, it has to be less than 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes, and it's done. Then there's the 10-minute one, which is particularly at times where he's distracted and maybe you want his full attention and you want to talk about the day. Because sometimes when guys are, if they're exhausted, they just don't have enough testosterone to listen to a woman talk. We just don't have it. Because see, when we listen to you talk, we feel love for you, we care about you. What's happening is that we're connecting with you, and that produces a lot of estrogen. And estrogen pushes testosterone down. So you have to have a lot of testosterone to connect to your wife. That's why men lose connection to women. They don't have enough testosterone. So that if you have a little testosterone and you care about her a lot, that estrogen goes up and pushes the testosterone down. So, and I give you an example of this. If they look at how love lowers testosterone in men. And people like to know, what's the research? Am I just making this stuff up? No, I see that this is 50 years of experience, men and women misunderstanding each other, then backing it up with just simple studies that are everywhere. But nobody makes these conclusions because they don't have this knowledge. So there's one study that showed out of millions of men in America, millions, right? And they say the average now for every man, the average is his testosterone goes down 1% every year, 1%, 1%, 1%. So, and then I remember reading Time Magazine 20 years ago saying that this is normal. No, it's not normal at all. It's our average in America due to our bad diets and et cetera, et cetera. So, but this is what happens is men's testosterone does go down 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Now, in the category, each age category, let's just say 35-year-old men, their testosterone level, who in that category of 35 years old has the highest testosterone? Single men. Who as the next highest, which is lower, it's men who are in a relationship. Next lower is married men. Next lower is men with children. Next lower, if they're still alive, is grandchildren. And so it's all about what's the difference in every one of those things. It's love. A man doesn't even know what love is until he's married for many, many years. You really discover what love is. Women can access love for their dogs. Men can actually love dogs. That's one thing they can feel love for. Just because dogs are so loyal and they adore you. Okay. They just adore you. And you can tell them to sit, so there's a certain power that comes with having a dog. But other than that, little children will bring out the love in a man. Okay. For sure. But then his testosterone goes down. And my evidence for that is my own body, which is, here I am, I could give seminars for 15 hours and not be tired. I've got a lot of testosterone, motivation, and so forth. But I babysit for my granddaughter, I have 5, but one is just a year and a half, say, and even younger. She's so adorable. My heart is filled with love. I'm smiling the whole time. And after even an hour and a half, I'm exhausted. I am completely exhausted because my testosterone has gone so far down. So, oh yeah, this is what happens to men. This is why you see nursing is mostly women. Okay, because they're nurturing all the time. They're caring about people, thinking about them, doing this. But men become exhausted doing it. And this is why men typically are designed to go hunting and the mother's designed to be with the baby. Now, a lot of women today, as I'm talking about this, they also would feel exhausted being with their kids because they're so far on their male side. See, they're so using their male side, they don't even know the power that comes from being on your female side. Biologically,
And maybe also superficial thoughts of what things should be like, the pressure we put on ourselves exhausts us, where the man actually doesn't get that exhausted because he doesn't really care what the other moms think if he has the right socks on and stuff. It's what I found anyway. That
Well, that's a logical kind of thing. I'm dealing with fundamental principles here.
yeah.
Okay, that would be symptoms of fundamental principles are basically a woman today. Many women go, "Oh, I could not be with my kids all day. There's just no way I could do that." Well, first of all, for women throughout history, could never be with their kids all day. They're with other women helping her take care of their kids. Okay, it's a community of women helping each other. So yes, it's true to sit at home and take care of a child all day will drive a lot of women crazy. Not all, but a lot of women crazy. But more so today, women are not the women who are not into having children. It's because they're not making enough female hormones. When you make female hormones, you have 20 times more energy than a man. This is biologically true. People don't know that. See, here's the way it works. Males are born with 25%, on average, 25% more muscle cells. Now, some men are born with 50 times more, okay, than women. But 25% more for males of muscle. And women are born with 25% more than a man of fat cells. Now, those fat cells can expand, so the people are overweight, it's those same fat cells that are expanding. And for some women have certain body type, they're actually born with more than even 25. They're going to be more of your round women. And you'll see they're more the nurses, they're the more nurturer ones, because they actually have more fat cells. However, if a woman feels support in her life where she doesn't have to take care of her survival, okay, survival is a big source of stress, okay, I don't have to take care of my survival. I have a man taking care of my survival, or I have a community of women that are helping me take care of my survival with the children. When she has that help, then what happens is she makes more estrogen. When she makes more estrogen, then her body can burn fat as a source of energy. Estrogen is what allows women to burn fat as a source of energy. And that when you burn fat for energy, you produce 20 times more energy than if you burn muscle for energy. So men, in a certain sense, are like sprinters. We can sprint, and women are the long distance runners. They have their bodies designed. The brain never sleeps in a woman's brain. It's always active. She's ready to take care of that child and hearing the noise and doing what needs to be done and planning ahead, because this little child can't do for themselves. They have to do for the child. A man is designed to do for himself and to do what's needed when asked or required. And he only has so much energy to perform. So women go, why isn't he like overwhelmed like me? Because we have a meter inside, muscle energy. We only have so much. So we're constantly regulating it. And then we're confused by this new lifestyle. Okay, the new lifestyle that men are not really run by their biology anymore. It's confusing to them because the biology of the past used to be that you had to, for millions of years, you had to use your body walking, running, or sitting, but planning to kill, to do the hunting thing. So if you're not using your body all day long, well, first of all, let me explain the positive. If you're using your body all day long, you use up your energy. Then if you use up your energy, when you relax, you rebuild your energy and you feel really good. There's nothing more satisfying to a man than to do something that was difficult, but he overcame the difficulty. He feels fantastic. So another simple example of this, I've listened to various podcasts these days, and one of them is Joe Rogan, who's a hunter and a fighter and a muscle man. And I'm none of that stuff. I was a kid, I was a hunter. That was enough for me. I'm not born with that extra muscle mass, we'll put it that way. And he has on a guest on who's also, a hunter and a fighter and muscle man and everything. And so Joe's saying, so what's your routine in the morning? He says, I get up every morning. Every morning I get up at 4 o'clock and I do this 10-mile run. And then I do my ice bath and I lift my kettlebells and I do my ice bath. And Joe says, and do you like it? And the guy says, I hate it. I hate it. Every morning, I hate it. I can't stand it. But when I'm done, I feel alive. I feel fantastic. Okay, so that's what you have is the biggest testosterone producers in men is overcoming challenges and then
almost done.
Say that again.
Almost dying.
Yes, almost dying, but then I didn't die. I'm okay. I'm here. It's that time of recovery, recovery having used up your energy, recovery after using up your testosterone. You feel fantastic. So we have inside of us a rhythm that's natural, which is take action and then rest. But let's say during the lockdown where men can't take action and they're resting, in the beginning, it feels like being on vacation. Okay. Oh, I don't have to work. Then it feels terrible. It feels awful. You go into depression. You have anxieties. Your mind, you become overly feminized, which is when a man's on his female side and his male is weak, he becomes angry. He becomes irritable. He becomes passive. He procrastinates. But it's very confusing to his body because his body remembers, but I always feel good when I'm relaxing. But it doesn't feel good for a man to relax unless you use up your energy. So he has to take action and then he has to react to that. And so what we have today is men who don't use their muscles during the day. And then when they come home, they can't fully relax or rebuild their muscles, or rebuild their energy. And at a time where I'm trying to rebuild my energy, I don't want to be producing a lot of estrogen because estrogen pushes testosterone down. So we're in a real, if we don't understand this biological thing. So when a woman raises her hand for a 5, I don't want to do what she wants to say. But to me, if I'm going to get paid $100,000, I'll do it right away. So that's how he has to hold it. This is going to be more important than anything you can do for your wife. So she will feel you're equal. She'll feel good. She'll feel loving.
That's the
So
problem.
then you have now you have the 10-minute one. And I'm a loving husband. My wife's only complaint about me now is you are so perfect. I don't get to complain about anything. So we even have a thing there where we have to do pretend, or she goes like this, which means I'm about to just fake it and she'll start complaining about something just so she can free. Because I made a joke the other day at a talk. I made a joke. This is like only partially serious. I'm just sort of kidding you, but then letting it come out. I gave a talk the other day, kind of put off a few women in the audience because I said it without too much explanation. But I said, men are born to solve problems. We're always trying to interrupt you, solve the problem, be done with it, and then we can go rest. Okay, solve the problem, be done with it. And women, they're born to complain. But you have to realize if there's going to be problems to solve, there has to be somebody who can talk about the problem. Somebody has to point out the problem. That's the fear.
For you.
Yes, this is for you to solve. And it's easy to solve. What man does not want to feel I'm going to get paid $100,000 to solve something easy? It's hard work to earn $100,000 and I can do it one weekend. Are you kidding? My gosh. So
I have so much to ask you, but I want to talk about the monk experience.
Okay. All right. We'll go to the monk experience. Now see what's happened is everybody's listening. They've connected with me. Either they're resisting me or they're connecting with me. Most people will connect with me because I've shared my true stories. See, I've been vulnerable. I express my truth. I express my mind, my feelings, all that. I reveal that. And when I reveal that, and if people are resonating with me, then I can transmit the energy right away. So this is a method there's a wisdom to my method, something like that. So you want to talk about so ask me some questions and I'll do the transmission.
Yes. So what was it like? It was 9 years of celibacy and inner work. So when I hear you talk about this, I'm like, I would love to be able to ask for help that way, but that requires me to be at a level of my own self-development that I wasn't. So I was never able to ask in a constructive way to get the help because I would already be pissed off, right? So it would be blaming. So there was no way to get there. So because you did those 9 years, maybe that's why you were able in your relationship to actually, well, you weren't the woman, but to have the fruitful relationship. What happened during those 9 years, and what would you say is the biggest obstacle or way to get the reward from such a long self-development journey? If you speed up time and you're in the relationship, what's the number one thing you can do to kind of get what you could have gotten if you did all those 9 years of inner work?
Well, that's just my path. Okay. I'll tell you where my path came from is many past lives. I've been a yogi. Okay. I was meditating as a child. Okay. I would sit quietly and be in a trance state. And, I just didn't know it was anything different. Okay. I just knew I liked to just sit quietly by myself, and I didn't want to be disturbed. I dug a hole, around 6 years old. I dug a hole behind the garage to sit in and meditate, just to sit in. I used to just sit in there and feel at peace and feel expanded. And then my father fell in the hole, said, you can't have a hole. So I secretly built a roof to it, put grass on top of the roof, or dirt on top of the roof, and dug a tunnel into it. So I would go into my little place. And I wasn't claustrophobic at all, as long as I knew that there was a way to get out. And one of my big traumas of childhood was one of my brothers was wanting to torture me, and he got into the entry and wouldn't let me out. And another brother, when he started to see I was having a very traumatic claustrophobic tantrum, another brother sat on top of him so he couldn't get out. And the other brother just didn't know I was really going through terror. So that was I always felt it was like some kind of Egyptian initiation where they put you in the coffin. They used to do that. They'd wrap you up and put you in a coffin, because then it forced you to get out, learn how to do astral travel, and then you learn to go out. There's all kinds of crazy stuffs in our past lives that we're working out in this life. But, my mother had an esoteric bookstore. From her own library, became the biggest esoteric spiritual bookstore in the country without any advertising. So I'm grown up in all of that. And then, but see, what happened is I'm number 5 boy. So my mother was really wanting a girl. So part of me went way to my female side and really connected with my mother, very attached to my mother. And so I was very much on my female side. And I needed to find a way to get back to my male side. And that was, my mother figured it out. She basically had me getting jobs as a young guy. She had me going to karate. I was on the front of karate magazines as a little kid, just because of the novelty. I was so good at it, and I was little. And then I had a paper route, and she helped me with that. And, I worked in a hamburger stand. She was really encouraging me to be around men, working jobs, whatever, because she realized, he's really tender, sweet little kid here. I need to toughen him up with the work and so forth. And so I had a lot of mentors. And then she really encouraged me to go off with the Maharishi when I became, Marshi's personal assistant. My parents went to Stanford. I'm slated I'm a good grade kid. I was going to go to Stanford, and then I ended up going to Marishi's school. And it was kind of like, but they totally realized, that was in my heart. They supported me in following my heart. But if I look at what that was for me, was to go to find my masculine side again. There's nothing more masculine than meditating. Okay. When you sit quietly and you have a discipline that you have to do, and part of that is fasting, sometimes not talking for a month. Sometimes I would challenge myself, sleep on the floor, all kinds of things to toughen myself up. Just part of being a yogi is depriving yourself of pleasures, so to speak. And celibacy was fantastic. Okay. To be able to have the experiences that I had spiritually. I mean, when I walk, I got 10 blocks of awareness, I just unbounded awareness. It's just this wonderful feeling after many years of celibacy for a male, because that life force energy, when you ejaculate, it will all go back down again. It's kind of like having a lot of money in the bank account, and then you ejaculate and you just spend it all. Now you got to build it back up again. And when you're holding it in there, it's building interest. So don't spill your seed unless you're going to make a baby or something. And then you're going to rebuild after that, no matter what. Men don't know that because they don't have the experience of how powerful it is in order to be celibate, unless you're making love. If you're making love with someone, then that energy is being used to share love with your partner, and it replenishes you. So there was a lot of experimentation after being celibate for many years and then having sex again. What happened the first time I ejaculated, half of my unbounded awareness disappeared. I mean, it was just gone. Okay, half. And that was so shocking. See, most men don't know they're losing life force when they ejaculate because they're not unbounded. Okay. And I talked to a guy the other day. He says, well, how do I increase my testosterone? I said, well, the first thing, you need to stop doing porn. He's masturbating every day with no shame even. And I said, don't you feel like shit afterwards? He says, no, I feel the same. He is just at the bottom level of masculinity, all I can say. But typically, most guys feel awful after masturbating. But if you're making love, then what happens when there's love? Okay, and it went down half. But then when I finally married Bonnie, it went back up, because that was true love. If you're really committed and you're sharing your relationship and you're both open and honest, then my energy gets released in ejaculation, but the energy comes back. So I never felt defeated depleted
Mhm.
with Bonnie. And gradually over the time, I learned with Bonnie how to make love to her and be multi-orgasmic without ever ejaculating. And that's an advanced skill I can't teach in a few minutes. And it's a lifetime mastery. So now, I basically almost have sex every day, just because I never lose that potency. See, it's the sexual potency. I have one client where the woman just can't be turned on to her husband. And I find out the husband's masturbating every day. There's nothing to be turned on to. He has to have masculine potency, that sexual potency. And women also have to have feminine potency. Meditation isn't the way to increase her feminine potency. It's doing things she likes to do. Dancing, chanting, singing, loving, asking men to do things and do things for you, being the queen, doing what you love to do, find the things you love to do. Some women, they love cooking. Some people don't, so don't cook. Some women like to shop more, just think about your body, think about your health, think about your beauty. That's one part of the most feminine things you can do, as well as if you have children, nurturing your children, but making sure you're not stressed out doing it. I see so many stressed out mothers today because they don't know how to ask their husbands for help.
Or
They don't know how to ask.
they were obnoxious, or they didn't take no. So if you ask and you can't handle a no, then I can see that going south, because he was fed up with me asking him to do stuff. So I had to somehow turn that around.
You
So
did.
it's
That's really good. But turning it around for a lot of women is to just stop asking. And
exactly.
so what
Stop
you do
talking.
is you have to ask in another way. A woman can't imagine what a huge thing Bonnie taught me. Okay, when I talk in past, Bonnie passed 5 years ago. I'm remarried, actually 6 years ago almost now. And but everything I became the person I am because my wife asked me to be. It was through asking, I tell you, and
Love.
also sharing her vulnerability. And there was, we do in my relationship now, it's the two hands up, which is, we call it for 10 minutes, I'm your genie. Whatever your wish, your wish is my command. As you wish, as you wish, as you wish for 10 minutes, as long as it allows her to feel more relaxed and enjoy herself, as long as she's getting something out of it. And quite often, not often, but sometimes my wife wants to talk and I just want to watch TV. Okay, I have no testosterone left. I need to rebuild. I need to be distracted from problems I have to solve, and other people's problems is one way to rebuild testosterone. So, but my brain, I want to listen to her, but my brain is just going there and looking at the clock, whatever. And then so she sees that, she knows I need a little cave time. So she says, okay, Jeannie. I said, all right, for 10 minutes, I can do whatever you like. And any man, if he understands how you get $100,000 for 10 minutes, you suddenly, I didn't need to take my cave time. There was an end to it. There's just, men need to know beginning and end and reward. Beginning for 10 minutes, we start for 10 minutes. I do whatever you say. And then afterwards, I don't have to do anything. I can now do whatever I like to do. And you're going to be happy, not feel neglected.
That's the thing. We have to regulate ourselves so that we don't become mad and spill over. That's our responsibility, because that's
That's
part
your
of
response. Absolutely. No question about it. You're looking at the woman's responsibility, no doubt about it. But it's much easier for her to do that if she feels I can ask and get 10 minutes. I'll give you an example of this. One of the challenges for Bonnie and I was, all these books, I'm being invited around the world, traveling, everything, and so many opportunities I said no to, so I could have a marriage that worked and also be a family man, have children who knew their father and felt loved and supported. So I have to find balance. Well, my wife gave me that balance because she said we would have conversations, and generally speaking, you're not allowed to be out of the home 10 days a month. Okay, not every month would I be gone 10 days, but that was the maximum, 10 days. And the other 20, I have to be right there 100%. Okay, so that was our deal. And sometimes she'd say to me, oh, I just feel like you're working all the time. You're never here. And she'd be upset. You're going and doing that business thing. And now, if we needed money, she would never be upset, but we didn't need money anymore. Okay. So if you need money, you don't care how long go work, get the money, go get the money. Okay. But we didn't need the money. I had so much money at that time. So it's not about the money. It's about the time, how much time works for her, works for me. It was a win-win because she has a life. She didn't want to be with me all the time. She has an independence to her too. So she figured 10 days I can work with that, but not every month. So I then said, well, let's put it on the calendar. So we put it on the calendar. I'd always show her my schedule of how many days I'm going to be away. And sometimes she would be feeling, oh, you're never here. And I said, well, let's look at the calendar. And then she would see on the calendar and she go, okay, it's all right then.
It's
She
just
just, sometimes we need to just bring in the logic of what is it? And then it's putting it all out there, it's out there, and you can be more objective. And men, they can separate from their neediness, like I need to go watch my TV show or I need to go have my alone time. If a woman says it's just 10 minutes, it's just 10 minutes. And there's an understanding that this is genie in a bottle, for 10 minutes, as you wish, as you wish. What man would not have done that in the beginning of the relationship, right? And if you want your feelings to be like they were in the beginning, men, if you wanted to be as happy, women, if you want to be as happy you were in the beginning, every week you need to ask for that 10 minutes. Every week, every day, you need to have 5 minutes. And I'm getting huge results from people with that whole thing. So I know our time's pretty much getting over, like really close. So I want to give a meditation because we're all connected here. So this is my meditation. And I suggest for people just to go with the word God. God can mean whatever you mean to it, but the word God means higher power, infinite spirit, positive energy, God. So we're going to start with the hands in the air like this. Everyone put your hands in the air like this and feel your fingertips as we do this. Then we're going to pull in the divine energy and you're going to feel it. Okay, because you've been hearing me, connecting with me. So it's dear God, repeat after me. Dear God, I want to hear you.
Dear God.
Arms out, all the way out. My heart is open to you.
My heart is open to you.
And now come and bring your hands together, but not touch, like in a prayer position. Come and fill me with your love and light.
Fill me with your love and light.
And then put your hands out and just right now, in this moment, fill me with your love and light.
Right now, in this moment, fill me with your love and light.
And now bring your hands all around and put them down in your lap. And basically you go, thank you. Thank you. Then open your hands up and notice if you feel some tingling energy. Now I'm going to say this prayer. You can do any prayer, by the way, but that's just a real simple one. So feeling your fingertips and your palm energy. As you hear me say this prayer many times, you'll start to think it along with me. Dear God, my heart is open to you. Please come. Fill me with your love and light. Right now, fill me with your love and light. Thank you. Right now, I'm receiving your divine energy, your love and light. Dear God, my heart is open to you. Please come. Fill me with your love and light. Right now, fill me with your love and light. Thank you. Right now, I'm feeling your loving energy flowing into me. Now, this time we're going to imagine a candle burning, because whenever you do spiritual things, having a candle burning or a crystal there, you can see behind me, there's a big crystal. So imagine, you see that little crystal? We're going to use the frequency of my crystal behind me. So, dear God, my heart is open to you. Please come. Fill me with your love and light. Use the crystal frequency to fill me with your love and light. Right now, using the crystal frequency, fill me with your love and light. Thank you. As I feel the tingling in my fingertips, some people feel tingling. That's the opening of the channels for the energy to flow into you. It's can be kind of heat for some people. For some people, there's a numbness. Some people, it's a heaviness. But that's all just awakening the channels in your fingertips. And from your fingertips, become aware of the palms. With your palms, imagine your hands are like made of light or filled with light and tingling light. Now, using my crystal behind, you see the crystal. There's no time and space right now. You're right with me. Using this crystal, take away any negative energy in my heart or body. Take away any negative energy inside of me. Take away any of my sadness and feel some sadness. Take away any anger. Take away any fears. And now imagine the energy flowing out into the crystal, all the negative energies of feeling hurt or feeling sad, or maybe think of a mistake you've made recently that you regret. Take away these feelings of regret. Take away my guilt. Take away my shame. Take away my feelings of embarrassment. And right now, as you take away this negativity, fill me with love, fill me with joy, fill me with happiness. Help me have what I want in my life. And as you start to feel the energy flowing out, imagine it flowing back in as you feel what you want. I want to be happy. I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel love. I want to feel at ease. As the negative energy is flowing out, positive energy is coming in. And that as the negative goes, the positive comes. And the positive helps you to feel the positive, which is already within your heart, that I am at ease and comfortable. I am loved. I am not alone in this world. I am needed in this world. And I am at peace. My favorite affirmation, I'm at ease and comfortable in all situations throughout the day and throughout the night. I'm at ease and comfortable in all situations throughout the day and throughout the night. And as you're doing that affirmation, you're circling the energy, negative energy flowing out, or just energy flowing out into the crystal and coming back in, filling you with more love and more light. Okay. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Did you feel the energy flowing?
Thank you. This was more than I could have ever imagined. Thank you, John.
Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I have a busy schedule today, so I have to say goodbye. So nice to see you. I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.